This installment of the Look Back series is about slavery in St. Louis. It was here from the beginning. Almost certainly slaves helped clear the land down on the riverfront in 1764, and some of the first baptisms recorded were of children of Indian slaves at the parish here. Many of the slaves in the first few decades were Indians, although that changed rather quickly because the Spanish colonial government abolished it. The families here were allowed to keep the Indians they had. This was not about humanitarianism. The Spanish were fine with owning blacks. They just didn't want trouble with the tribes. The first families, the Chouteaus, were large slaveholders, as were their relations and their allies. So slavery always had a lot of political power in St. Louis, even though the number of slaves as a percentage of the total population fell sharply through the 1800s as the population rose. By the 1850s, only about 3% of the people in St. Louis were slaves. But as I said, the powerful families owned them, so the politics were pretty safe. Missouri, of course, was a slave state. It entered the Union as such. And even though there was division, especially as the Germans started arriving, they were against slavery for the most part, we were still rather soundly a slave state, even though we stayed with the Union in 1861. Next week we will explore the Dred and Harriet Scott case, which of course had a lot to do with that war.